If you're like me, you just got the A7C II and is very excited to go out there to shoot photos or video content. But you can't shake off the feeling that there are some things missing before you can go out to do those stuff. Well, good news, I have the solutions. In this video, I'll be showing you guys all the things that you need to get for the A7C II. They are below 50 bucks that will get you prepared to shoot any video and photo content. To kick things off, you will need the Trinity. You will need a screen protector, you will need SD cards, and you will need batteries. So starting with the screen protector, every time you see the videos that are on my channel, you will see that the screen does have this little purple rainbow tint. It's because I already have a screen protector on that caused this rainbow effect. Now the one that I'm using is actually from Kingma over here. So screen protectors that are of better quality usually comes in with this and little hard casing, which gives you the assurance that it's actually properly made. Number 2 are SD cards. Now if you guys are regular on my channel, you guys know that I use two particular brands, Lexa or SanDisk. Now while getting the memory cards, you want to get a memory card of up to a certain standard. What do I mean by standard? If you can look up close, your memory cards will have symbols on it. What you want to look out for is actually this V60 symbol over here. If you get any memory cards that is below this V60, you will not be able to record your 10-bit 422 video smoothly. The last of the trinities are batteries. Now for a start, I wouldn't suggest for you to use third-party batteries. For me personally, I still stick to the original NPFZ100 batteries. Why I recommend third-party batteries? I would say at your own risk, or at least not for the first 2 years of using the camera, to be on the safe side. Closely linked with batteries is our next item. Now if you notice, if you're getting Sony camera nowadays, they do not have any charger that comes with it. So my personal go-to is this Nitecore USM4. One thing I love about this particular model is that it does not come with any built-in wires. Now why is this a factor? The previous models that I get has a built-in wire, which in any case that it spoils, this whole thing is useless. For this, you can just use their provided USB wire or your own USB wire. So let's just plug it up. So all you have to do is just to plug it via AC or power bank. So I'm just using a power bank. Okay, let me show you at the side. So you plug in the power bank and you want to plug this in. So you want to plug in your batteries. So one at the top and one at the bottom. And you'll see all these indicators lighting up. Now it will show you the current charge as well as the voltage that is going in to let you know when it's filled. So this USM4 comes in at only about 30 USD, which I think is rather good. And the build quality is rather reasonable. All the other third-party battery chargers out there I find are too flimsy or not well made. Now if you're like me, you probably avoided getting the kit lens along with the A7C II because of the reviews that you see online with the hunting. So let me introduce you 3 different lenses. Ta-da! So starting with the smallest one. Now before I continue, yes, these items are not below 50 bucks. These are the only exception to this list. So starting with the list is this Viltrox 20mm. So this is the Viltrox 20mm. So 20mm is really a good focal range. Now how did I came about this lens was that I was searching for another substitute for my Sigma for the Samyang 18mm 2.8, which I'm using for my Sony ZV-E1. And this had a lot of good reviews and had a very close focal range with that lens. So let's just attach it. So from here, so once you have it attached, you can see it actually feels really good and light. You do not feel very lopsided or have a very front heavy element to the lens itself. So this is the first option, which comes in at only 175 USD. A very reasonable price. Next is my Samyang 35mm f1.8. So this is a really good walk around lens. 35mm actually is quite close with what your eye sees. But I would say 35mm is one of the better focal ranges because it does have very little distortions and vignetting at the side. Okay, so once we have it attached, have a look, you can see it's just a little larger than the 20mm and feels really good in your hands. Now this comes in at about close to 400 USD, but the quality is really good. You won't have any issues in terms of getting good photos out of this. Last but not least is one that is featured quite regularly on my channel, which is this Sony 50mm f1.8. Now this lens is really good for a lot of the close-up shots if you're walking around. It gives you much subject separation against other objects and subjects at the background. So I do really love this lens, and this lens is also rather affordable, coming at below 200 USD. You can see, it feels really good in your hands because the lens itself is really light. Now, is this the best quality of 50mm out there? I would say not. There are a lot of reviews online which also says that the quality at f1.8 is not the sharpest. But the reason I got this is not because it has the sharpest, but rather is the price is really reasonable and the bokeh is really good. So if I were to use this for my food shoots, I'll usually stop it down to about f4 or f5.6 to get the sharpest image. All of these test footages are actually from the edge of my table. Here's a quick test of the 3 different lenses and their various apertures. So we are just going to do the indoor test with these 3 lenses. So behind me is the camera. So this is me away from the camera. So just a quick recap. These 3 lenses, let's arrange them to their size. So the smallest would be the 20mm Viltrox, followed by the 50mm 1.8 and then the Samyang. So let's put them to side by side. Ta-da! So if you get each one of these lenses, I'll highly recommend you to also get ND filters, which leads us to them. So I recently just bought this one that is from K&F. You guys know that I regularly use K&F filters. I'm not sponsored by them, but their quality is immaculate. So this is a 2-in-1 ND and CPL filter. So one thing good is that you have these knobs at the side which you can turn, and you can see it gives you these increments. Okay, I think it's hard to see. Let's use another camera. So this lens, like I said, once you turn it, you'll be able to adjust the filtration, and then the CPL would be the second layer over here, which you can turn to adjust it. So just let me show you how it's being applied to the lens. Okay. So all you have to do is just to put this up close here and just turn it. So why is it important to have this CPL and ND filter? Now, in case you don't also need the effect that is on it, this serves as a layer of protection for the element of your lens. All of your lenses cost probably a few $100. Hitting on the glass elements would directly cause this to be unusable. So having a layer of protection at the cost of maybe about $50 is really worth it. Now going back to ND filters for the K&F, so there are actually 3 tiers. The cheapest tier, about $20, will have this very strong X effect if you were to adjust its increments. So the tier that I recommend is this one, which is this Nano K. So this is the one that you are seeing on this lens itself, and costs about 40 to 60 USD depending on which filter thread size you use. If you have more bucks, go for this higher tier one, which is this Nano X. This Nano X costs about 100 USD, but gives you better quality from the $50 range. Can you notice a huge difference between them? Honestly, not really. It's very hard to tell the difference, especially if you're using it for video. In photos, probably. Now, before I talk about the next 2 items, which are going to help with the ergonomics of the camera, if you guys are finding value on my channel, do consider to join my YouTube membership or just give me a super thanks. These are small ways for you to show that you guys enjoy my content and can support me as I create more for this channel. Moving on to our next 2 items, so there are 2 issues with the A7CII, in my opinion, which are actually, to be honest, first world problems. So for the camera itself, you'll be able to see that your thumb seems to be a bit restless. Okay, you can see that your thumb seems to be a bit restless and your pinky seems to be a little out of place. Now, I know this comes with the perks of getting a smaller camera, but these are issues that sometimes you will need to address to make it more comfortable for creating content. So let's talk about the first item, which is this Formosa base plate. Formosa, the name doesn't sound really PG. So one thing interesting about this base plate is at the bottom, you have different screw threads that will provide you, and also this little thing. Now what is this little thing? This is basically a wrench. So all you have to do is just to put it below your camera, over here, and use the wrench to screw it in. And once you're done, just stick it back to its magnetic base. Amazing, isn't it? Now, one other thing about this base plate is that this is Arca Swiss compatible. So at the base, you'll be able to see that there's this portion over here, which is compatible for all the Arca Swiss plates out there. Personally, I do not use Arca Swiss as I'm a little lazy, but in case you are using those fluid head for video, this might come in really handy. So now you can see my pinky is able to rest well on it. Feels a little bit more natural, but somehow not perfect because we still have the thumb issue. So this will solve the issue. This is a thumb grip. Okay, this thumb grip over here. Okay, it's so small that I need to take some time to focus. Okay, this little thumb grip, you'll notice the texture on the top is rubberized, as well as the thumb grip over here is rubberized. So this surprisingly costs quite a bit more than the base plate itself. Now, this base plate comes in at about 10 USD. Really affordable. While this comes in at 17 USD. Now, it is mainly because of these rubber grippings that cost this much. If you do not need the rubber grippings, this can be as cheap as about 7 USD. But I really like it because it helps with the aesthetics, as well as the overall look of it. So with these two, it not only helps with the functional purpose of it, this whole thing feels a lot more perfect. As for its base plates, there are other brands out there which cost about 40 or 50 USD. But do you really need them? Perhaps you'll get more screws and a little function here and there. But I feel that this 10 bucks base plate does its job. And the truth is that if you get a more premium base plate, it does weigh a bit more. So what do you guys think? Which one of these accessories do you like the most? And which of them do you think you could probably skip? I'm curious. Let me know down in the comments below. If not, see you guys in the next video.